Are you related to him? Medical accent. Jesus, I forget all those words we say. Give me that bloody retrovirus for God's sakes. Inject it in that young man, settle him down a wee bit. Well, for God's sakes, Rodney, shut up. I know you're smart and all that, but shut the hell up. Yes.
When you're watching the episodes, do you think I could have done that better?
Pardon me?
When you're watching the episodes again, do you think to yourself, I could have done that scene better? Or?
No, I mean, I think a lot of, I always kind of say, at some point in time, like a painter paints their picture, and at the end of the day, they sign their name, and it's just a moment in time. You know what I mean? So I think I'm not one of the actors. I'll watch the episode and I'll appreciate it for what it was. And I think sometimes you go, that would have been neat if they would have cut that differently or would have taken that. But I'm not that critical of myself. I just kind of, all I want to do is do my best, be honest in the moment. And I think that's what acting is about: is good listening and being honest in the moment, trying to react, and then hopefully it works out. There's sometimes there's certain movies and things that you're in you kind of wish you didn't do at some point in time, but you have no control over a lot of those things, right? All you can do is your best. I always say I don't care how big the part is. If there's a little gem inside of a movie or a TV show and it's got some nice moments in it, a little bit of humanity, then I'm keen to do that because I just really love acting.
Well, seeing as you love acting, can you do a Wraith impersonation?
A Wraith impersonation? No. I'll do a what? Get her out of here, for God's sakes. 2 strikes.
Hi, I'm sorry to take it back to the accent again, but did you find it easy to turn it off when you're filming?
The accent? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of neat because, do you know who Robert Davi is? He played Koya. Am I saying it right? Koya, yeah. He's one of the menaces. He was, the Janai, he's like one of the leaders of that. He hadn't had any scenes with me before. And so most times when guest stars come to the show, it's kind of interesting for me because I can tell if they've watched the show or not because they'll know I'm Scottish. But I'll meet them and then we'll do the blocking and the rehearsal and everything like that. And then I'll be talking like this. And then as soon as they go, okay, action, I'll talk with a Scottish accent. And so I'm doing that with him. And he's like, there's a scene, I forget the name of the episode, but I'm in prison. I'm in a bar, like me, David, and Rachel. And he comes up to the gate and gets real close. He goes, what are you talking? This kind of thing. And I'm like, just leave us alone, hot shot. He just kind of looks at me, he's like, is this guy, what are you doing? I said, I'm just in this scene, hot shot, let's do this scene. And he's like, no idea. He goes, are you Scottish? I'm like, do you not watch the show, Robert? You've been on bloody 9 episodes. That's always kind of fun to do that sometimes, It's a little fun. And when we did the initial table reading, I remember everyone's very excited. We're at Bridge Studios in the office. They have a camera set up. People from MGM and Sci-Fi and all these different places are there. And Joe Flanagan's there, and Robert Patrick, and Rachel's there. David was there. David was the only one that was in cast, and Rainbow Sun Franks at the time. And we're all talking and everything. And then in the pilot, Beckett has some of the first lines. It's like, get that bloody shit. I'm not doing it. No way, And I remember doing. They all said, and only the directors and producers knew I was going to do a Scottish accent. And so Martin's said to me, he goes, don't do the Scottish accent until you start reading, okay? I'm like, okay. So we just sat in the room, I get the script, and Joe's 2 people down from me, and I start doing my line, and everything's quiet, okay, everyone, we're going to start reading the script now, this is the pilot, everyone's excited. There's probably 30 people in the room, and I go, I'm not getting in that bloody chair, I don't care about it, you say for God's sake, and then I see Joe like this, looking at me. He's like, a Scottish accent? I'm like, that's right. He goes, all right. So it's kind of a neat little moment. It was very funny. If you see the replay on it, I think that'll be funny. At some point in time, I'd like to see that. How you doing?
Hi. What was your reaction when you found out you had to kiss David Hewitt?
Pardon me?
What was your initial reaction when you found out you had to kiss David? Oh, right.
David Hewitt kissed me. What do you think it would be? Well, Martin Gero wrote that episode, and what Martin did, he was very smart. He goes, he came to my trailer and he said, listen, got this really funny episode that's coming up. You got kind of a love interest. I'm like, oh, cool. It's got a love interest. And he's like, yeah. But the thing is, at one point in time, she kind of gets caught inside of David's body, and then it's actually her kissing you, but it's actually David kissing you. I'm like, what? And he says, so I go, do you talk to David? He goes, yeah, David knows, so he's pretty, because it's you, and you guys are good friends, it's cool with it, it's kind of fun. Really? Okay, well, David's cool with it, I'm cool with it. Then he goes to David's trailer. And says, listen, Paul, we got this thing, or you and Paul, it's a funny episode, it's really funny, and, you end up kissing Paul, or Paul ends up kissing you, or whatever, and he's like, is Paul cool with it? He goes, oh yeah, Paul's fine with that, so yeah, we got a lot of teasing on set that day, but David did, and I gotta be honest with you, in rehearsal, because it was kind of weird, it's like, I'm like, we got the makeup trailer in the morning, and Joe comes in, he goes, how you doing, ladies? And all the grips are these big guys are like, oh, somebody's going to be making out with somebody today, right? I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then, but David in the first rehearsal just grabbed me and planted me in the mouth, right? And I'm like, Jesus. And he goes, oh, we're going to break the ice somehow. I'm like, oh, God. I still have a restraining order on him. Oh, we didn't find that out until much later. Yeah, much later.
Hello again.
Hello.
Sorry, what was your first acting job?
Pardon me?
What was your first acting job?
My first acting job, I guess, I don't know if you'd even call it acting. I mean, I was in Toronto at the time, and I was doing a lot of television commercials and theater and stuff. And my agent said, listen, do you want to do it? I got a job for you. It's 4 days. And it was, I think it paid $100 a day or something, which, was quite a bit of money, and especially when I just finished university and stuff. I'm like, oh, perfect. And what am I doing? They said, oh, it's the 50th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz, and you were one of the characters at this trade show, so you got to go around and talk to people and stuff. And I was lucky. And I go, what am I? She goes, you're the lion. I'm like, cool, I'm the lion, okay. So I go around and pick. So I get there, and it's the original, one of the original suits, so it's huge. And it doesn't have any ventilation in the back. So they told me to wear something comfortable. So I wore sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and I get in the suit, and like Dorothy's with a little basket, and the Tin Man's there, and we're all in some hotel room, and he marches into the elevator, bring us around, like not unlike this convention, we go around and talk to people, give them little, I don't know what, DVD copies and stuff. But as this is happening, I start sweating. And I am to a point in time where we're going downstairs, and I'm like this, basically, and I pull over and I said to Dorothy, she's like, I barely know her, I go, Dorothy, and she's like, what? I'm like, Dorothy, she's like, what? I'm gonna faint. So I was like, dropped down to one knee, then they pulled me back up to the room, and we can only go up for small intervals at a time, like 20 minutes, because by the end of it, I just had a bathing suit on, I was pouring sweat, but I looked really good after those 4 days, lost a lot of weight. That was my first acting job. Hi.
Hi. When you were younger, growing up, were you a sci-fi fan? Did you like Star Trek? Is that why you wanted to be in the movie?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I watched Star Trek all the time, and I've been to Doctor Who, I like that as well. It's such a big family, we played a lot of sports and things like that, 6 boys in the family, so everybody watched Star Trek at that point in time. And then when, the opportunity for the movie came around, it would be really cool because I was born in Scotland to play Scotty. It would have been a very interesting thing, but happy to be in it. But yeah, I was a Trekkie when growing up. I really loved it. I think we got someone down here. Hi.
Yeah, they just started showing the 5th and final series of Atlantis here, but I've already got the box set, so I've been working my way through. And one of the interesting episodes I watched was quite fun was, I think it's called Whispers or something, where Dr. Carson's picking up to go back to Earth, whatever, and he gets called back to this planet where they found this abandoned wraith flare. And what I found interesting is how we sort of seemed to get a love interest, but this time it wasn't in Rodney's body, it was a character played by Nicole DeBoer. I'm just wondering if there's anything, going in that direction in future episodes, or...
You mean outside of the show?
Well, no. No, I mean later on in the series.
Well, you know, that was definitely a possibility. I think they kind of established that like that. I remember getting the script for that, and it was just Joe, myself, and I think 4 or 5 beautiful women in the episode. And I talked to Joe, and he goes, I'll do my Joe Flanagan imitation. It's like, Paul, did you read the script, buddy? I'm like, yeah. He goes, it's cool, man. It's cool. It's just me and you and all these hot girls. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, it's gonna be awesome. Awesome, buddy. No, she's a lovely woman, a great actress. I think that would have been great. It never ended up going that way, to be honest with you. And then they stopped the show after 5 seasons. So I think at some point in time those characters could be back. I thought it was a really nice chemistry that we had together. And she's so lovely to act with too. So who knows what the future will hold.